years ago today, Gerald R. Ford was inaugurated as our 38th President of the United States. And of course, we are celebrating here in West Michigan. We are at the Presidential Museum with the director. We've got Brooke with us today. Brooke, thanks so much for being with us and for inviting us in.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Yes. Huge day, huge exhibit. Let's talk about how the museum is commemorating this event.
So we have this excellent new exhibit that's opening today, and we are hoping we get a lot of visitors for it. But it is a deep dive into particular decisions that President Ford made throughout his 2.5 years in office in a way that really immerses the visitor too. And we're really looking forward to it, and we're really excited about it.
Absolutely. So talk about the work that goes into preparing for an exhibit. Obviously, this isn't something that snuck up on you. You knew this was happening. Talk about the process of getting to this point.
So yes, we saw the calendar. We knew that the 50th was coming up, and so we knew we were going to need to do something like this, a temporary exhibit that really commemorated the life and the administration. And how do we do that when our core exhibit already does that in a really great way? But that was where we talked, and we came up with these key decision points that he made during his administration, and then our incredible museum team just kind of took it and ran with it, and they have been awesome. They selected great artifacts, and they really did the research to kind of bring this to the visitor.
Okay, and let's talk about the visitors. What do you hope people come in, see, and take away with them as they leave?
It'd be great for people to understand that, like, President Ford's very short time in office was still key and critical. There were a lot of things going on at that time. There was the Vietnam War. There was a Vietnam refugee program that he brought forward. There was the Nixon pardon, obviously. There was a fiscal crisis in New York City, and he did a lot with foreign relations, and I don't think that people really appreciate just how much he did in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of takes you through chronologically. How long is this exhibit going to be here, and how can people take this in?
A year. We are really excited that we're going to be able to have this up for a full year, and so that way people have the entire 50th anniversary to really come in and soak it in. And for those of the public that may not be able to make it, we are going to be launching a digital artifacts collection as well, and so they will be able to see these artifacts on display on our website too.
Okay, wonderful. And speaking of artifacts, we're going to be talking to the curator about how this all came together. Well, now we've got the woman who's behind all of these wonderful exhibits, Dr. Morel Lukey, who puts all of this together. You're the curator here, Morel. Talk a little bit about piecing this exhibit together.
So we really wanted to focus on some deep dives into some moments in Ford's presidency, and decided that we wanted to talk about some of the difficult decisions that really defined his presidency in office. So this exhibit explores things ranging from his decision to grant clemency to Vietnam-era draft evaders, pardoning Richard Nixon, Vietnamese refugee aid and Operation Baby Lift following the end of the Vietnam War, rescuing the crew of the SS Mayaguez, attending the Helsinki Accords, and his decision to not give aid to bail out New York City following their financial crisis.
Okay, some of the key things. Now, we'll talk about what we have here. Tell us a little bit about the exhibit we're standing in front of right here.
So in this section of the exhibit, we explore Vietnamese refugees following the fall of Saigon. So in April of 1975, Ford was really lobbying to have aid to refugees, to bring Vietnamese refugees to the United States. And the American public was also very concerned about what was happening to orphan children during this time. So the set that I'm standing behind really explores this Operation Baby Lift, where World Airways had flights where they brought orphan children out of Vietnam to the United States. And so here we have, I think, probably my favorite set in this exhibit, an airplane with airplane seats and boxes, because some of the children were so small that they couldn't be strapped into the seats. So they were actually in special boxes that were then strapped into the seats to bring them to the United States.
Oh my gosh. And talk to me about finding these things to put in these exhibits and how a showcase like this comes together from a curator standpoint?
So of course we have a number of artifacts in this exhibit, which I'm very excited about. And so, when visitors come, they can see in this section a quilt that was made by an Operation Baby Lift volunteer and various things as well. For this exhibit, I knew I wanted it to be a really immersive experience for visitors. So the curatorial and exhibit team really brainstormed what we could do to bring these different elements to life. And so we wanted these set elements that could make it a really tangible experience for visitors. And so we have things like this airplane. We have the island that Marines landed on when they were trying to rescue the Mayaguez crew, and various other sets that people can see when they come to visit the exhibit.
Wonderful. And talk about the greater significance too in this time of political history, where we're making history daily here now, how this can play into people's thoughts and ideas of politics in general.
Yeah, well, I think it will be a really exciting learning experience, because I think people kind of come in thinking, oh, it's presidential history, it's the past, but you can really see just how many threads of history carry through into the present moment. And I think learning more about Ford's administration, maybe things that you had read about in a history book or kind of remember from living through these moments, but you can really be reminded of just how intense those moments were and how significant they were in that time.
Yeah, they seem like so long ago, but at that time, making history daily, right?
Exactly.
Wonderful. And let's talk quickly in September. We're not going to forget Betty Ford in all of this. You've got more exhibits coming up.
Right. So this exhibit is really focusing on Ford and his presidency, but of course he wasn't in the White House alone. So we wanted to make sure that we also really highlighted what was happening with Betty Ford during this time. And so in September 1974, just 6 weeks after her husband had taken office, she was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. And so we'll be opening a small showcase exhibit about Betty Ford in September, exploring her battle with breast cancer and how her decision to go public with her diagnosis really changed breast cancer awareness in the United States. So we're really excited about that as well.
Wonderful. Well, Merle, thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it. This exhibit going to be on display here at the Ford Presidential Museum for the whole year. So you have a year to get here to come honor President Ford and all the things that he did in his history. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
And Ford at 50, Decisions That Defined a Presidency, now open at the Gerald R. Ford Museum. It will be on display for a full year. Learn more about it and all the other events and exhibits at the FordLibraryMuseum.gov.